With that, it's now time to welcome Ms. Shweta Shalini, BJP Spokesperson, advisor to former Chief Minister of Maharashtra and former Executive Director of Maharashtra Village Social Transformation Foundation. She works closely with former Maharashtra Chief Minister, Shri Devendra Fadnavis, as an advisor, election strategist and technology consultant. She brings together a wide range of skill sets for the BJP with her corporate and entrepreneurial background. She's also worked towards rural transformation in 1,000 backward villages in Maharashtra. She's a serial entrepreneur, founder, investor, and mentor to the Millennium Divas, a woman-focused angel fund. And she's also advisor to Niti Aayog, the premier think tank of Government of India. I've in fact had the opportunity to also listen to her views firsthand, and I think I'm just truly delighted to introduce and welcome her here. So with that, thank you very much, Shweta ji, for joining us. With that, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And before I get into this segment, I think I want to congratulate the hosts, Reality Plus magazine, and to every woman. I was honored to enter into a panel where I realized that we had people from different segments, different fields, different sectors come together and give their opinions on women in corporate and employees who are women, and it was a lovely panel. So congratulations. Also, I think when I am told that today is Women's Day, please come and deliver a speech onto this platform, I always ask them that every single day, all 365 days are Women's Day. What's so special today? But like we celebrate life every single day and celebrate our birthdays only one day, I think this is a celebration of womanhood. And so thank you so much, Reality Plus, for celebrating womanhood and womanhood in every sector, especially the reality sector, because I do not come across many women in the reality sector. And when you pick out these women and bring them on stage, they become like idols for other women to enter the sector. So coming to my points today, I think I'm going to focus on my 5-point learnings that I've had in this journey from being an entrepreneur to a politician, starting my journey with being a multinational employee. But before that, I wanted to tell every woman present on this panel and listening to us through Facebook and through various social media platforms that remember, anybody who tells you that you can't rule the world, the lion is not the strongest of the animals in the forest. It's not the strongest because it's the elephant which is the strongest. It's definitely not the fastest because it's the cheetah which is the fastest. It's not the tallest because it's the giraffe that is the tallest, right? It can't jump on trees, it can't go very, very high, but the lion is still the king of the jungle because right here in his mind, he feels that he's the king of the jungle. And that's why I feel that every woman first needs to be empowered right here. The moment you're empowered in your mind, you will have empowerment within yourself. Because I personally feel India has borrowed this women empowerment concept from the West. Think about it, your grandmoms, your mothers were always empowered. They decided which school you went to. They decided which clothes you are going to buy and which clothes you are going to wear. They decided the menu of the house. They decided where will they buy a house. And it still remains the same in the reality sector. So they were consumers, they were the decision makers, and they were the leaders. And hence, in our society, this imbalance happened when financial imbalance happened. And wherever there is an imbalance of power, there will always be differentiation. And that's precisely what happened. Because for a very long time, women refused to be financially independent. And that's what I learned from my father. My father told me in the very, very beginning when I was a little girl that one of the things that you need to do is to be professionally sound, extremely competent, and financially independent. So as a mandate, this government, if you actually see, has worked on financial independence of women at the grassroots level. If you actually look at the various schemes of the government, you will see it focused towards women. In fact, Ujjwala Yojana, a lot of people talk about Ujjwala Yojana, where we talk about ensuring that a woman does not have to use the chulha anymore and transforms into becoming or using gas cylinders. But on the hindsight, if you actually look at the statistics, you will realize that the amount of kerosene that was used to burn women alive in rural areas has come down remarkably, because there is shortage of kerosene because of the Ujjwala Yojana. The toilet scheme, the Swachh Bharat Yojana, who is it aimed at? The livelihood program, whether it is the women self-help groups, whether it is the Jan Dhan Yojana, which out of 34 crore Jan Dhan accounts, 80% have been women beneficiaries. Now, at the grassroots level, if you see the movement of these government schemes, you will realize that women in our country have taken up on themselves that if India tomorrow is going to be the superpower, it is on our shoulders that India is going to stand. So trust me, to every woman on the panel and seeing us today, right here in your mind, understand that you are the king of this jungle. This country needs a queen like you, somebody who can not only make the fate of their own family, of their own self, but will also determine the fate of the future of India, of the tomorrow of India. And that is the confidence that every girl in India should be brought up with. Coming to my own journey, I think I've moved on from being an entrepreneur to coming into politics. And every time when I get asked this question that it's a man's world, how do you feel in the man's world? And I turn around and answer them that it's a man's world because we've made it so. Because right now there aren't enough women in this world. If women decide that we need to take over the world, they are not only going to take over this world, but they are going to reach out for the sky. So women, I think today is a beginning where we need to think that, one, we need to decide that the future of the country is going to be dependent on what we do today. And hence, I'm going to give you 5 tips before I close. Tip number 1, please do not make it a man versus woman world, because we don't need that. We are 50% of the population, and we need a world, we need a country, we need a future where each one works for the other. And India is one such country which has shown to the world how we can step up for another human being. Just think back, look at COVID times, and you will realize every other country, when they were trying to save their own selves, it was India that stood up. And every family in India, be it the migrant crisis, look at the migrant crisis and you will realize common families stepped up and said, okay, if I have 3 rotis, I'm going to give 2 to these migrants who are walking back home. And hence, step up, because we need every woman to stand for another woman and for the man also. Also, I feel this goes out on Women's Day to all the men listening to us. We need you, because women empowerment cannot be a reality without you. You need to give space. You need to give equal opportunity, and that's what we want. All we want today from you is equal opportunity. When we try our best, we don't want your eyes to question us and ask us questions. When we are 22-year-old, we don't want you to turn around and ask us, are you settled? When we try extremely hard, we don't want you to turn around and say that, are you going to be married and going to be having children, for us to think about maternity leave before we give you a job. So men, please make way for us, because we don't want to snatch it from you. What we want to do is to stand for you, with you, besides you, and make this world together for ourselves and us together. Second, I think women, and this goes out to all women who are either working, are employees, or are looking at doing an entrepreneurial venture, are in various sectors, especially in the reality sector. Stick to your core competence. If your core competence is building, then build. If your core competence is selling, then sell. You need to understand that your little world needs to be the best of who you are. The best version of you needs to be translated and implemented into the work that you do. So competence is everything. So stick to your competence. Understand that everything you are doing is not time pass. You are contributing. And that larger purpose of your life needs to be fulfilled by you and you alone. Third, and extremely important thing for women, PMS. This definitely stands for plan, model, and scale. And there is no other meaning for PMS. Ensure that every single month you tell this to yourself, and with every activity of yours, you plan, you model, and you are ready to scale. Once you do that, you will realize that a lot more log saath aate rahenge, karwa badhta rahega. But for your confidence, it is important that you plan it out first, you model it out, you make an initiative, and then go all out to scale it. Next, I feel one of the things that women need to realize and understand is what I, in my own words, call as sisterhood shout out. I think it is important for, in this world, for women to stand with other women and for other women. Until we network, until we understand that we are each other's strength, until we share our experiences and our learnings, we are not going to grow together, because it is not a world where either I am going to survive or you are going to survive. It's a world where both of us have the space. If we are unique, if we would have been the same, God would have probably not made two of us. But because God has made two of us, there is space in this world for both of us. And so the market has space for both of us. So just plan out a good networking model, and each sister should stand for another sister. And that's what I call as the sisterhood shout out. And last but not the least, I'm going to close at Indra Nooyi had once said that, women can't have it all. I personally say nobody can have it all, neither can the men. So choose, prioritize, because it is your priorities that define you. Remember, it's one life you have. Apart from making it large, you have to make it queen size. But more importantly, think, if you are not living a life that is filled with adventure and challenge, what is it? Which are the stories that you are going to narrate to your grandchildren? So at 90, do not regret the life that you have led. For that, challenge yourself every single day. And I think that's what women need. They need to challenge themselves. Once they challenge themselves, I'm sure what gets delivered is the best that women can do for this world. And that is the kind of women that we need in India today. Thank you so much, Sapna ji, and thank you, Realty Plus, the platform, for doing something like this. I think women need more idols. They need more women to come forward and create idols for them. And you guys are doing exactly the same.
Thank you, Shweta ji, for those motivational words. I'm going to definitely remember PMS now more in a better way. But thank you so much for that sisterhood shout out. Yes, definitely. And it's not this versus that, or men versus women. As you rightly said, we are all in this together. Kavya, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much once again, Shweta ji. I think absolutely the riveting points that you have shared with that dynamic voice of yours, I think it's just going to transcend across all these screens and reach out to all our attendees who have been listening to you. So thank you once again for joining us at this beautiful program. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavya ji. Thank you.